You come in like John Kreese, we voting you out. Like, peace, be done.
Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
Bonsai, I'm the Cobra Kai Kid, and today I'm joined by Britini D'Angelo, and you may recognize her from Big Brother Season 23, and now she's here to talk about herself, Big Brother, and Cobra Kai. So thank you so much for joining me, Britini. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am so good. Thank you so much for even asking me to do this. I'm so excited to talk all things, everything that you've just said. So let's do this thing. I'm so pumped. I mean, obviously, like, I'm even more pumped that we're doing this interview on like the eve of when the trailer was dropped for season 6. So like, I know we have a lot to talk about today because I am just as excited as all of you that are probably watching this for season 6. So let's do this thing. I'm so pumped.
For sure, me too. I'm super excited. And yeah, when we planned this discussion, there was no season 6 trailer, no release date.
No.
So it'll be cool. Now we can talk about that.
Now we can talk about season 6, which is not coming nearly fast enough. Let me just say, I'm sorry. Like Netflix, release it sooner.
Just get it out. We don't care that you're still filming. Just give it to us. Give us the uncut footage.
I'm like, I know you may still be in Spain. I'm not even sure where you're filming right now, but just please give it to us. Give us what you have. Like, Sholo will not be mad. Mary will understand. And Tanner will be okay with it, okay? Like, we just, like, everyone's gonna be okay.
All right, now I know you're a big fan because you know the actor names.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not no fake fan. Obviously, I also watch, like, Sholo and Jacob's podcast. Like, we're not like a non-official fan here. Like, obviously I keep up with my people. But also I think that Cobra Kai has done such an incredible job. And the reason why I fell in love with the show was because as a martial artist myself, like, you don't see a lot of shows. Like Karate Kid was very much in the niche for that. And then like Rocky was a whole separate kind of thing. It wasn't really karate. It was more like boxing and stuff like that. So it's just like a different world when it comes to Cobra Kai, and just like seeing something that you do every day represented in a really cool way is awesome. So no, we're going to ride with people that do a really good job.
Yeah. And it's also introduced a whole new generation to karate, because when Karate Kid came out, you know, everybody's on the street doing the crane kick and all that.
Yep.
And then those movies ended, and now like Cobra Kai has really revitalized it. Have you seen that?
Oh, for sure. No, I have. And it's like, it's taken what was done so well in the 80s and it's brought its own modern day spin on it, is kind of how I like to put it. Mm-hmm. Where like the karate, even that was shown in the 80s movies, in all of the films, was very still authentic to martial arts, but now I feel like it's almost just like heightened the authenticity of it, and also put like the modern spin of like what's really known now. Where like even like the tornado kick, like being added in season 4, like that was something that like is so commonly known now, but like wasn't like a technical term in the 80s. Or maybe it wasn't. I mean, I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I couldn't tell you, but it's a very common term now is what I'm trying to get at. So like tornado kick is a very common term that like any one of us do. It's actually in one of our forms, like that we do a tornado kick, like you're required to know what it is. And so it's just funny to see like the modern day terms come to life in this, you know?
For sure. And for everyone listening out there, I'm sure they can tell that you know what you're talking about when it comes to martial arts.
I do.
I'm super excited to talk to you about all that. Can you just give everybody a little background for like what your martial arts experience is?
Yeah, so I started training at age 12, which is honestly late in the martial arts to start training. Now it doesn't seem late saying that everyone in Cobra Kai started training in high school,
and they're all black belts.
And they're all black belts, but I started training at age 12, and I actually was a competitive gymnast for the first 9 years of my life. And then I like, along with being a dancer and softball and stuff, but like extracurriculars. And then I switched over from gymnastics to martial arts after I saw my brother Philip and my cousin Jordan both compete at the World Championships for the Chuck Norris system in Vegas in 2009. And I was watching all these people doing these fun flips and like nunchucks and bow staff and size. And I was like, yo, this looks cool. I want to do it too. So we literally flew home on a plane that Monday. That Tuesday, I was in a white belt uniform and in class. And I had a very unconventional route to black belt, not unconventional in the sense that it took me 5 years to get my black belt, but unconventional in the sense of like, I was also a 12-year-old diagnosed with autism going through martial arts. And like, I wanted just to be at the end. Like I wanted to see my black belt. I wanted to see the finish line, and I needed to take things one step at a time. So like, I probably hold the record at my karate school for doing the most push-ups for talking, because that was a lesson that I needed to learn. And I probably hold the record for doing the most katas over again, because when I would make a mistake, I would get so hard on myself and I would just get so down. And I would just like, whenever I messed up, it was like a real personal jab to Brittany, like, man, like, what am I doing? And so finally, after 5 years, I received my, not finally, actually, I kind of got it quickly. After 5 years, my senior year in high school, I received my first degree black belt. And then I did not stop. Like when I was up for testing, I tested. And I was lucky enough to pass all of my pre-tests and test the first time. So in our system, when you get your first degree, you have to wait as many stars are on your jacket to test for the next degree. So when I was a first degree, you wait a year and then you can test for second. When you have second, you have to wait 2 years, test for third, wait 3 years, test for fourth. And then fourth, I got in 2020, I got during COVID. I had to wait 4 years, and then I was just told last month that I'm now being promoted to the master rank, so I will be Master D'Angelo in July. So I'll be a 5th degree black belt, which is crazy. I literally just filmed my 5th degree like draft demonstration for the board yesterday. So I just filmed it. Like I just sent it over this morning, and just so that they can see kind of what my idea is for my 2-minute presentation, because we do it in front of the entire board. And there's 1,000 people that are watching you plus in Mandalay Bay, which we're going to have it there this year. And I get to get my master rank with my brother Philip and with my cousin Jordan. So the 2 people that literally got me into the sport, we are all getting promoted in the same year. Like it is, the stories could not have written itself better for this. And no, I love martial arts. I love how much it's challenged me. I love so many things about it. But in terms of knowledge, I do have a wealth of it. And it's only because I've had great masters and great trainers.
Well, first off, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I'm so pumped. It's just like when I got that call, I literally cried. Like one of the members of the board of directors called me and she was like, Britt, congratulations, you got it. And the board said yes. And I just lost my stuff, like I just lost it. And it's because I've been training in the martial arts now for 15 years. This coming July will mark. And to see something culminate a 15-year journey, and that it's like all of my family's going to be in Vegas and all of my friends are going to be in Vegas for this. And everyone's going to watch me do my 2-minute presentation and just watch me go crazy and like crazy in terms of like, I'm ready to light that stage on fire. Like, let's go. And I wrote in my description for my master's presentation, I said, I'm ready to bring the party, but also know that like, this is going to be a reflection of 15 years of my martial arts journey. So I'm going to show you exactly what that means. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome.
Wow. 15 years, you said?
15 years in the martial arts. Yep.
That's amazing. So
weird. It's weird when you think about it as 15 years, because I just think of it for myself as like, I just have been doing this every day. Like I've been training so often, and I compete sometimes on the NASCA circuit, which is like a very like popular circuit that goes around for sport karate. I've competed in that more as I've grown older, which is weird because normally you compete in it when you're younger, but as I've grown older, I've competed in it more. And then obviously like that. So I have my master's demonstration on the Thursday, and then Saturday I compete in 3 divisions. So it's like the weekend will continue to just fire off fun things, and we're just going to get through it one step at a time.
That's amazing. So you mentioned like that, when you first started, you just wanted, to get that black belt right away. Yeah. And I'm sure that's like a common thing, I think, with like a lot of people like starting things, they see something cool, like even like an instrument. It's like, I wanted to learn the violin. I'm like, oh, I'll learn it. And then it's like, nah, it takes a lot of time and commitment. You have to be really passionate about it. So like for you, how did you learn to have patience with it? And also like, what advice would you give to someone else who's maybe starting something new that they're passionate about, and that not like having the mindset of you're not going to get it right away.
Right.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah, I would just say the main thing that I've learned is just that with anything that you have a passion about in life, you have to take it one step at a time. And if you look too far in front of you, you're going to miss what's happening right now. And that is so true for the martial arts, but it's true for anything. You know what I mean? I think for me, I was so fixated on the final point that I really, at some points in my journey throughout the belt ranks getting to black belt, I missed a lot of things. And I finally was able to go back, because I was like a green belt, red belt, kind of going towards black. And I was able to take more patience. And I had a lot of really great masters and instructors who helped me see the bigger picture and helped me see that it wasn't just like this one straight path, because everybody has their own path. And I think that's also very important to note is that like my journey is not going to be the same as my brother's. It's not going to be the same as my cousin's. And just knowing that we all have a different path to get to the same destination. No path is wrong. It's just yours. And like for me, I almost quit the martial arts at green belt and then again at red. And it's
Wow.
because I was so at that, like I'm not going to tell you it's easy at all times. Like both of those times I was like, why am I still waiting to test? Like I felt that I was ready, but there was something that my instructors were seeing that I wasn't ready. And they were like, Britini, you need to take a step back and you need to work on this, and then you will be ready to test. And I didn't see it until I took that step back and I was like, whoa. And then I got it. And I
Mm.
think when I really started to get it was training for my black belt. Like, because you, in our system, you have to take a pretest, and that pretest is judged by about 9 people on our regional board. And you have to get more passes than fails. Obviously, that's why it's an odd number. And then you test. So you have to do it twice. You do it first time to get approval. The second time, you go somewhere in your region, and then you do the actual test, and that's when you get it. So every time that I tested, you do it twice. You do the same exact
Mm.
4.5 hour test twice. And I just really started seeing more of the whole picture kind of aspect of like the go one step at a time. I'm not going to fix everything today, but I'm going to fix one thing today. And then I'm going to fix one thing the next day, or I'm going to get better at this one thing today, you know? So it's just that more of like the go one step at a time, not go full force kind of mentality, which is hard for me because I like going full force a lot.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's great advice because a lot of times it's there's that need to just do something now, do
Yeah,
something right away.
for sure.
But you got to put in that work, and you've definitely proven it. You got a lot going on. I mean, I want to talk about how I know you, which is
Yeah.
from Big Brother 23. You know, I'm a Big Brother fan, a Big Brother fan. And it was so awesome seeing you that season, and now getting to talk to you is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I met Derek X.
I know. I saw that you met Derek X. That was crazy. Literally, like you posted that photo, and I was like, "Oh my god, DX!" I love DX and Claire. They are like they are still such great friends.
Oh,
And I mean,
good.
we still the I mean, I anyone can tell you in the Big Brother universe that like our cast is easily the closest one that has ever competed. But also
Wow.
just like we knew how close we were even like walking into the house. We just knew that it was different for the 16 of us.
Mm.
And like we all still talk. We all still have 3 group chats that are still alive. Like it's that close. And there isn't one thing that we wouldn't do for one another. Like that's just how it goes, you know? But I literally I love DX and Claire. And the fact that you got it like you saw DX, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I was at I was actually in Las Vegas,
Yeah,
right? I was at the National Association of Broadcasters show,
love
and
that.
yeah, it was really fun. And I'm walking around and I see this guy and he looks so familiar, and right away I'm like, is that Derek
DX.
from Big Brother? I'm like I'm like, you know what happened? I feel like I felt kind of weird, but like I was kind of like staring at him, and then he looked at me, and then I think he knew that I knew him because I was like,
I will say there's always a look. Like I don't like I'm sure you've experienced the look.
I've
But
experienced
like
the look.
I'll be in like a Disney park and someone and now mind you this doesn't happen very often, but like if it does, like I will see someone like kind of like stare in my direction and I'm like and I'll look at my mom and be like, they know exactly who I am. And like we'll be walking and then 3 minutes later they'll walk up to me. But I always tell people, I'm like, look, you guys got to watch me 24/7 and I love to say thank you. So
Yeah.
please come say hi to me. Like my like just it's so fun for me to like get to know the people who supported the show and supported us and me as well. And it's just like I tell like, but that look is a look. And you know it. Like you can catch it. It's almost like a radar now of like, oh, that person knows who I am. Yep. 100%.
It's so funny, you know. It's weird to say, but I've also experienced the
Yeah, the
look,
look.
like, and I was in a hotel a few weeks ago, and I was wearing my Cobra Kai kid sweatshirt, and there was this guy who was kind of looking at me, but like it's like at the same time though, you don't want to like just stare back and be weird.
No, you can't. You gotta like keep doing what you're doing. And if they want to approach you, then they approach you, kind of thing.
Exactly. Also, I
Yeah.
was like eating breakfast, so I was like maybe I have something in my teeth or whatever. Like, but then he came up to me and I was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, no, I mean with the platform that you've created, after absolutely you've had to experience the look. But also like you have been such I mean, like there's Cobra Kai and then there's you. So like there's also like you have built such a notoriety in the world of Cobra Kai as well as, but also that's a testament to your hard work and that you've just hauled and you've just done so much for yourself. So like kudos to you on that. But like it's just it's a look. You know it when you have it, and you know it when you see it, and you're like, yeah, yeah, huh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
For
So,
sure.
yeah. So okay. So after Big Brother,
Yeah.
what was it like? Like were you getting recognized a lot? Are you still getting recognized for the show today?
Yeah, so I always say, and actually DX and I were the ones that talked about this one day. We were at California Adventure and in Disney World or Disneyland, sorry.
Mhm.
And we were just walking around the park and we like were I think we were just together with I think it was just him, me, and Claire. And we were like walking around the park and we got recognized that day like I'm gonna say like more than we thought. We'll just
Wow.
put it that way. And maybe it was a day that the Big Brother fans were out. And Derek was like, I think this is 2 years after we wrapped. I think this was
Mhm.
last year. And Derek was like, Britt, like, I don't understand this. Like, why are we still getting recognized? And I'm like, Derek, like, our season was just different. It really was. And it was exactly what people needed after All Stars, where like All Stars was great, but like it was a majority alliance bulldozing through and it was COVID, so it was different. Like, not to say that the cookout didn't bulldoze through us because they did, but like, we just had such good characters, though. Like, the people on our show made it
Yeah.
better, and the fact that like I mean, obviously that was the first year that the 50% diversity rule was enacted in CBS, and so much history was made that season. Not only just with the cookout, obviously the cookout being the overarching one, but like there were so many things that happened in our season that were just so much bigger than the game. And I just think that that's one reason why like we even at like events where like Ozza will throw like house shops parties and we'll all go and like I always just get so shocked like the impact that our season had on
Mhm.
everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And so to this day, yes, and that could be for Big Brother, that could be for TikTok, or that now can be for a lot of my autism journey stories have been recently going viral. So a lot of like
Mhm.
recently it's been that. But like also it's I never expected though. Like I'm a very normal human being. I teach sixth grade English. I also am a dance teacher. I train martial arts. Like I'm a very normal human being. And I it always catches me so off guard like when I'm in the parks and anyone that's with me when it happens will tell you, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was on a show. And I always forget, like, no lie. And I
Yeah.
just because like by day I teach sixth grade English and like every single day I'm in my classroom with my students, making sure they're doing everything they need to do. And then by night, either I'm training, I'm teaching dance, or I'm creating videos, but by trade, it's a very normal situation, which is why I didn't even think that I was going to get cast because I was like, I am very abnormally normal. I'm from a town called Buffalo, which most people don't know exists except for the Buffalo Bills. Like, I'm a very normal person. So even when I got cast, I was shocked because I was like, I'm one of 16 out of 50,000 plus that auditioned, but you saw something in me that I didn't even see. You know what I'm saying? So it still throws me, but yes, it still happens. And I love when I get to interact with people and just like hear their stories. Cause like I don't need to talk about me. I want to talk about you. That's how I am with every single interaction that I ever have. I'm like, let me know about you. We don't got to talk about me. You. I want to know about you, your story. Share it with me. And I love it. I love learning. Like that's one thing that maybe as being a teacher, maybe just being me inherently myself, I love getting to know other people and I love getting to hear their stories and their journeys and how they got here. So it's fun.
Yeah. And I just want to say this, and I mean this in the best way. You know, you say that you're just normal, and why would they cast you? Because you're just, but you're not. You're so special. I mean, you do
Thank you.
martial arts. You're a sixth grade teacher, a dancer. Like you make those amazing videos. You have a great personality. So that's not like just like typical things like I've never met anybody that does all that stuff. So obviously, there's something very special in that, that the casting picked up, that people pick up. So I'm like blown away that you do all that stuff because like I know for me like doing just like two things like doing school and making videos is tough, but
Yeah.
you like the discipline, the training for dance and martial arts to make your videos. I know those take a long time.
Oh,
And then
indeed.
and
They
then you got
do.
family, friends.
For
break
sure.
time. There's a lot.
No, I appreciate that. And I feel like for me, I say normal in the fact of like I find like I love teaching, and teaching is a very big
Yeah.
passion of mine. And I just know that like I work a job that's 5 days a week, and the balancing act that happens in my life is my planner's a mess. Just know that, guys. My planner's a hot mess. There's so many different color coding things and things that just make it look alike. But it's also just like it's a journey. And I love that this has just been a massive journey that I never thought possible. Like even going through the Big Brother casting process, I bet my parents $45 throughout all of my interviews that I was going to get cut. And I thus have lost that $45 because
They
I
knew you were
never.
gonna get on.
Well, no. So here's the thing. So I did not tell my parents that I was auditioning until I got to the finals. So because technically you can't tell anyone. It's the rule. But I mean, obviously immediate family, I was like, I cannot hide this from the people who are going to be in my house while these interviews are happening. And they were like, okay.
Yeah.
So I let my parents and my family know, and I let them know right before finals. And then we basically like we had a bet. They believed I was going to get on because they were like, if you've made it to finals, like they ain't going to cut you at this point. And I was like, but they could, like, they could have an interview with me and be like, nah, that Britini, she's too weird piece. So I thought I was going to get cut. And then top 100 came and I wasn't cut. Top 50 came, wasn't cut. Waited a month and a half. And they were like, if you don't hear anything from us, it's good news. And then a month and a half later, I was at the zoo in Buffalo and I get an email saying that I made top 25. And then I got that email and my mom started crying in the zoo. And we all thought she was crying at the giraffes. Nope. Nope, not the giraffes. She was crying because we all knew at that point that I wasn't getting cut. And we all knew that if there were 9 people between me and the cast, I was already picked. Because there's no way that you would include me in a top 25 if I wasn't getting chosen. And then it was funny too, because on my hometown visit, they like all the producers, like we were at the falls, it was a monsoon, like the rain was coming down, it was 30 miles an hour. We were trying to film the key scene, which is actually real, by the way. When you get your key, you really don't know you're getting your key.
Really?
You don't know.
Sometimes it looks kind of staged.
Now, they have you redo it a couple times, so maybe the one they take is staged, but my first reaction of the key, I missed it 4 times. It was literally hitting my nose. And because they were like, look in the viewfinder at the falls. And I was like, I thought I was acting. Like, I thought I had to just act like I was looking through the viewfinder. And it was literally hanging on it, and I missed it 4 times. And then I finally found it, and, like, we have a video, and it's probably somewhere. I have been meaning to post it. But, there's a video out there of my family going ballistic when we finally found out that we got the key. And then my mom looks at the production people and goes, oh, my gosh, like, is she on? And production goes, well, I'm actually not supposed to tell you, but she is one of the 16. And so in Sequester, I'm sitting there like, I'm on the show. I was like, can I have my steak, movies, crayon? Like, I was sitting there chilling. There were people in my cast who didn't know they were on the show until 3 days prior. So I was sitting there the whole time being like, yo, I'm on. Like, sick, great. Give me more movies. Give me more food. In-N-Out sounds great. Thank you so much. Like, I was chilling for I mean, my sequester was 11 days. It was long. But I was chilling because I knew I was on. But no, could never have predicted it. Couldn't. I mean, you never think that stuff would actually happen to you. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought, million years, that would have happened to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. And like, I'm sure, we watch the show on TV. I know you're a fan of it. And
for sure.
How many times are you screaming at the TV? Well, how could you not see that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? But like when you're in it though, it's so different. So like for you, what was it like to actually be in it? Because like, you're there, you're playing a game, you're in the scenario. It's like people are watching and maybe they're seeing people getting tricked, but like it's harder to know when you're actually there and being lied to and you're actually developing connections. So like what was that real experience like?
So it's interesting because you're definitely in it, right? Like everyone, I mean, my season was so much different. It was not so much different. That's in English. So different because we genuinely all had connection with one another. Like we all genuinely like loved each other as a family. And we knew that from the second day that we were in the house. We were like, this is just a different season. But it's just like, you just got to trust your gut is the way that I always tell people. Because there were some interactions that I was like, ooh, okay, I can trust this person. There were other interactions where I was like, nope, can't trust you. trying to start stuff, peace. And it just really depended on who you were talking to and in what regard. But also you always have to be on alert, because when I came out of the house, like the week that I was evicted told me everything that I needed to know about what was happening in the house, because the person that I was up against, which was Big D was barely campaigning, and people were still, I was giving them every reason in the book to keep me, and they were going to keep Big D. And like, I could not change their minds. And I was like, there's something bigger happening in this house. And so then I like sat back and I was like, so who's talking to who? And I did not figure out the cookout was happening by the time that I left, but I knew that Xavier and Tiff were running the house. And I knew that Derek had to have some protection behind him because he barely was campaigning. And I was giving people every reason in the book to get rid of him instead of me. And they were still going to go with me. And it's just like, you have to be on at all times, which can be exhausting. But then I also tell people in the same breath, you also just have to take time to get to know people. And that's what was so beneficial in my game, was the fact that I just talked to people. And I also had an in every single time because I was always on the block. So I could just go up and talk to anybody I needed to without remorse, because I'm on the block. I need to talk to you. And I could have any conversation I needed to because I was the one in jeopardy every week. Not that I was the one going home, but I was still sitting there as the pawn. So, which is a whole nother level of like how to play the game. I mean, I walked in the house thinking I was going to play one way, and then I played the literal opposite way. So it's interesting when you're in it, because you want to be the person that makes the big moves, but like they always don't work out that way. Like, it's not always like a big move kind of thing, or like that's not always needed. And like, it just depends on the situation. It's tough because you really have to evaluate so many different things in that moment to figure out what you're going to do next.
For sure. And especially since the game has evolved and
So
like,
much.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been so many seasons. People know what's going on, and as soon as someone makes a big move, it's like everybody else is like, "Oh my god, they just made a great move. They could win. We got to get them out." So a lot of times, it's smart to just wait and then make that big move at the final four or the final five. And it's a tricky act. And I know you mentioned being on the block a ton. I remember that. Oh my goodness. I felt terrible. Like,
I did too. So it wasn't just a you feeling, it was a me feeling too.
I'm sure you did more than me.
But also, like, it was interesting because at one point I just like switched my gameplay and I was like, I don't care, put me up spawn. I'm like, can I do I was like, I get to compete in the veto. Put me up. Do it. I'm like, you need a placeholder? Let me compete. Thank you. And like, that's like, even Derek X's HOH, I literally told him verbatim, I was like, put me up. I'm like, put me up, I'll win, and then we can take me down and put up Christian. I was like, that's fine. And I was like, as long as, and he was like, well, how would you feel comfortable going up? And that's where I started having a little bit more leverage of like, who am I going to sit next to? And I would always have that person picked. And I was like, I don't care, give me a king. Any king, let them sit next to me, or this person needs to sit next to me, and then we need to make sure this person loses the veto. And like, it's just it's a very different game from the block. But I will say the one thing that like solidified, when I was evicted, I was ready to go. I was like, yep, like this is my time. Like you could literally see the color come back to my face. And that first week of shooting in jury, from the week that I was evicted to the week that they shot the first week in jury, the color came back to my face. I was like a whole new Britini. And I was like, just because the weight was relieved off my shoulders. But I remember when Tiff and Chada came to jury. And they were the first two members of the cookout that were evicted. And we already knew we knew that they were a 6 when Sarah Beth came in. She was number 3, but we didn't know they were called the cookout until Tiff. And so I remember, and this was something that validated my game so much in me, was Tiff and Chada sat me down and they were like, Britt, you literally pitched us so well to keep you that we almost debated evicting Big D. Like every single one of us were like, not that we were going to do it, but like, y'all, you really had us questioning what we should actually do in this moment. And they were like, not that we could do it because of the mission. And obviously I completely understood, like it needed to happen. Thank God. And Xavier is such a deserving winner. I felt so validated in my game after hearing them say that, because I really studied the game so much and I wanted to go in there playing an honest game, but I also wanted to go in there playing cutthroat a little bit. I wanted to make sure that I was sticking up for myself and that I was making sure that I saw a path to the end at all times. And I did. Even when I was in the house, I always saw that path to the end. And even when I became the pawn, I was like, that's a path. It's a risky one, but it's a path nonetheless. And it gives me the opportunity to compete and be in it. So I'll take that over not having a shot at all. You know what I mean? At least I get the opportunity to compete as opposed to being blindsided and getting out of it. So it's I loved it though. Like it was my dream to compete on the show and I got to compete in it and it was wonderful and I loved every single second of it, even the stress. I always knew that I was in a game and I always kept that reality very much alive in me so that I could enjoy the experience as well as enjoy the game. But I think I came into it with the right mindset and I definitely came out of it with a incredible mindset. Like it was I learned so much about myself on that show. It's crazy.
I love that. I love that. And I want to ask you a fun question. So,
Sure.
when playing Big Brother, do you think it's smarter to play with the Cobra Kai mentality or the Miyagi-Do mentality?
Miyagi-Do all the way.
Ooh.
Miyagi-Do all the way. With a hint at times of Cobra Kai No Mercy.
Yeah, can you explain that?
But you gotta. So you need to be Miyagi-Do to start. You cannot come in Cobra Kai or else you will go home.
Day one.
If you come in like John Kreese, we voting you out. Like peace, be done. But you can't do it. Like you will be evicted.
Yeah.
If you come in like Mr. LaRusso, you're gonna stick around for a while. When you get to the jury phase, more of that no mercy mentality can come out. Like more of that like fire inside of you. But like the whole thing is the first job that you have to do is get to jury. The second job you have is to win. So during the pre-jury, I would say you're more Miyagi-Do. And then, okay, I'm going to adjust my answer. Pre-jury, you're Miyagi-Do. After jury, you need to mix Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai
like
together.
an Eagle Fang, maybe?
Because I wouldn't even say Eagle Fang. I would like... How would I want to say this? I would like to describe this as when Daniel LaRusso was training in the cement junk, whatever Johnny Lawrence's dojo was in the warehouse.
Oh, okay.
Like when he did that scene, you know what I'm talking about? When he did that scene of like him climbing up the chains and like walking on the hot stones, you need to be that version of Daniel LaRusso who understands attack, but then also... I love how that was just so specific, Brittany. Good job.
Good job.
You need to be that version of Daniel LaRusso that like knows the attack side of you, but also still knows your defense. That is how you need to be. Like, what was that? Season 4, am I right?
Season 4. You got it.
Wow. Daniel LaRusso season 4 and that one scene is what you need to be post-jury.
I love that. I love that.
We're going to get really specific.
Yeah. And then,
because I'm not gonna tell you be Terry Silver. Like, never be Terry Silver or John Kreese in this game. You will get evicted.
What about the end?
Like Johnny Lawrence should be cutting it. For who?
Well, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because I always find this like super interesting.
Okay.
We've seen like at the end of the game, like final 3, you know how the person who wins the final HOH, they choose who goes to the end.
Yes.
For you, because it's like, it's one thing when I think the prime example is like Cody and Derek from season 16. Cody.
Yeah, where Cody took Derek and then Derek took the money.
Exactly. And it's like, from the viewers, it's like, dude, you missed out on $500,000. But then from his perspective, he was in an alliance. That was his best friend. He made a promise. So for you, if you were in like a situation, you had a best friend. This was like your ride or die, but they had a better game than you. And you're like, they're probably going to beat me. And then you had like someone who just did not play the game. You could 100% beat them. What would you do in that scenario?
That's a tough one because I've been asked that so many times and my answer has changed based on my mood. So I think that in most cases I would take the best friend because you cannot play this game without other people. And I like think to myself, if it was like an Ozza situation, I would have to take Ozza because I would want to guarantee one of us gets 50 and the other one gets $500,000 or for us 750, so I feel like it like putting myself in the shoe of Azah was the one that was sitting there, and if Azah had a slightly better game than I did, but I knew that evicting her would mean she got nothing. I couldn't do it. Like my morale would mean more to me at that point than that. But then the other argument is like, you're risking $750K. So like, what do you really want to do here? And my whole thing in this is it's tough. It really is. But ultimately, I don't think that I would be blessed with the opportunity of having a best friend and somebody who I could beat in the final. I feel like for me, like if I ever made it to a final 3, I'm going to have 2 heavy hitters sitting right there. Like I'm not going to get that lucky where I would have that kind of a choice.
Yeah, for sure.
Just knowing Britney's luck. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, I like that answer. So you wouldn't recommend ever playing the game at any point, like a Terry Silver or a John Kreese?
Not at all. No, you're gonna get evicted real quick. Like Johnny Lawrence is even cutting it close. Like Johnny Lawrence, like when he's human, like the humanistic versions of Johnny Lawrence, like you could pass in a house, but like not his seasons 1. Definitely not season 1.
No.
Probably not season 2. Season 3, we're getting there. Season 4, I could accept.
I feel like season 4, season 5, Johnny Lawrence would be the most likable in the house. It's like this guy's just so out of touch, and we just love him. He's just like this, like what is he? I think he's like in his 50s. And it's just like, you know, with all the kids, he's just like being hip and whatever, and talking about the 80s, and everybody's just interested in his stories. Like,
no, and the funny part is too is that I've actually heard him in real life is like they love like I forget, I've seen so many interviews that like him and I forget John Kreese's real name. What is his real name? It's Martin. Okay, so I was like, what? It starts with an M. I thought it was Max for a second, but it's Martin. Don't come at me, y'all. I knew it started with an M. But Martin, like I have heard that people love filming with both of them. And I would love, like, just because of, like, how personable they are even on set. So it's just very interesting to me.
Yeah. Do you ever think...
I just...
Oh, what were you going to say?
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Nothing, not at all. No, you're good. No, you're good.
All right. No, I was just going to ask, like, would you ever be interested in going to, like, a convention or something that they're doing and meeting them in person?
I would die. I would like really have to like hold it all in because as like I always tell people like I get starstruck meeting people. And so I feel like I would very much have that reaction to a lot of them in the cast or all of them in the cast. But no, I definitely would like to at some point. Like that would be really cool to meet them, especially like if they're doing conventions to promote season 6. Like I think that would be fun to like go and meet the cast. But I also would get really, really nervous to meet the cast. And I know that for myself. So I'd have to get through the nerves and then go and meet them and be like, oh my God, sup guys?
Sup?
How we doing?
How you doing? What's up?
Great.
No big deal.
No big deal. Like, hi guys.
But I think if you told them what you were doing with the martial arts, I think they would think that's really cool because, you know, even though most of them aren't like real, you know, professional martial artists in real life, you know, they've been doing it for the last 7 years. I know they've developed a great appreciation for it. So I know like,
well, William's a black belt, isn't he? William's a black belt?
I think so.
Isn't he a black belt? Isn't he a black belt in real life?
Yeah, I think he is. I think
he's the only one, if I'm not mistaken, that actually has a black belt in something.
You know who else is a black belt? This might surprise you. Bert.
That actually makes total sense.
Right?
No.
Right?
Can I tell you that actually makes 100% sense?
Tell me.
Thank God.
You knew it.
Oh my gosh.
Owen Morgan.
No, that makes complete sense. Yep.
Black belt. Yeah.
100%. I knew, I feel like, I don't know how I missed that Bert Hass's, but like I said, I knew I watched an interview because they were like talking about training and like, I knew they mentioned like William being a leader in a lot of the training stuff. at least for like the younger people, like the young, like the Sholo, Marys, Tanners, that kind of thing. And I think that that's awesome. That, I mean, you can tell by his form that number one, he's a black belt. Like you can just tell. Like there, I mean, there's like the martial arts that I mean, you can number one tell that the training has been amazing. But number two, like you can just tell who naturally has a knack for it. Like when I saw the All Valley and they had to do the weapon section, I paused it and I wrote down on a piece of paper, Robbie's going to do open. And I showed it to my dad, and I did not watch the weapon section or the open section of the traditional. I said, Robbie's going to do an open for him, and he's going to flip. And they're going to take him right out of XMA, and they're going to make Robbie do an XMA for him. And sure enough, that is exactly what that man did at the All Valley. And I was pumped. Because that makes so much sense for Robbie to do the XMA style. Like Miguel would have to do the traditional, Tori with the sword made total sense. Like everything that they chose, the only one that I did not make enough sense for me was Hawk. Because you know what I wanted Hawk to do? I wanted Hawk to do nunchucks. Oh. Tell me that would not have been sick for Hawk with the colorful mohawk to do the colorful nunchucks. Like missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Like you had this man breaking boards.
You never saw him with weapons, Hawk.
No. And but also like I mean, we never saw any of them with weapons really before this All Valley. But I mean, they really just came out of left field here. But I wanted Hawk so badly to do like a nunchuck or like a bow routine. Ooh. Like something with like a colorful weapon that matched his hair. I was like, the opportunity is primal for this. And then they had him break boards. And I was like, ugh. Not that it wasn't great. Yeah. Like, it was fantastic. He did a great job breaking boards, but I was like, you already had two people before him breaking boards. So why can't Hawk do chucks?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I was just, I love the All Valley, but also Carrie Underwood was singing through that part. I was like,
it's the moment of truth.
That was me. No, it was such a good part. Cool. Oh my gosh, no. But no, I just, it's like, but you can really tell the training that went into all of them having their abilities, and just like, and like also even Sholo and Jacob talking about like how many times they practice their fight, and they don't fight each other often.
Yeah.
Like they just fought the All Valley, and that was a shorter fight, so but like they rehearsed it for like 2 weeks, and I was like, dang.
It's crazy because it wasn't even a real fight. It was so short.
No, it wasn't. I mean, but also I wish there's some matchups that I wish I saw for longer. That is one that I wish I saw for longer. Like I wish he would have I wish that Sholo would have like had his back go out on 0.3 instead of 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
You know?
Build it up a little more.
Like I wish that I would have saw more of that fight. I wish I would have saw who got the first couple points, because I feel like that almost like Miguel's journey coming back from the broken back and from being paralyzed and from the surgery. And then you see him in the semifinals. He doesn't even get a full point. Like that, I was like, ooh, you could have given him at least 2.
Yeah.
Or somebody, whether it was him or Eli. You know what I mean? Like whether it was whichever character you wanted to give the points to. But like, I wish I saw more of that fight for him. Because I feel like we barely saw him in that All Valley 4.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think that it would have been cool because, you know, in the beginning they both like high five each other. They're all friend like, which is fine. Yeah. But like, you know, we want to see like freaking like fights. It would have been cool if like in the beginning they're like good luck to you, whatever, and then like they have this fight, and then like Miguel gets a point, and like Hawk kind of gets a little pissed, and then it kind of becomes more and more like battle.
Almost kind of in the realm of like the Kenny and the Robbie fight.
Ooh,
like Kenny was a brand new character that season, and like obviously Tanner was like a big brother to him, but like they even showed the different emotions of that fight. And I felt like that was a quarterfinals fight, and I felt like that got way more time. It did. Than the semifinals matchup between Miguel and Eli.
I agree.
Like, I almost wanted that to be the fight where I saw the internal emotions. And, like, not to say that, like, I didn't want to see it for Kenny and Robbie. I think that was a defining moment for Robbie in terms of, like, what Robbie was going to do to win. But I wish that they would have kept that fight the same length and then made Miguel and Eli's almost similar in time. Just because we also didn't really see a lot of Robbie's semifinal match either. And it really was just about the final.
Yeah, I agree. And
you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just watch things and I have so many ideas. I'm like, ooh, okay. But I also I think the All Valley was very well done. So
For sure.
I will be very interested to see how they do the Sakai Takai.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I want to give you
I
something to
cannot
think
wait to
about
see what
too.
that looks like. Okay,
Oh my
talk to me.
god. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just gonna say that seasons 1 through 3 actually had a team of stunt coordinators, and they brought in a new
Yeah.
team for seasons 4, 5, and 6. I don't know if you know that? Did you recognize that at all?
No.
So
But when you say it, yes. No,
yeah, it was a
that makes a lot of sense.
completely brand new team from seasons 1 through 3 had
Interesting.
a team. Then they
Okay.
got rid of them, brought in a brand new team for 4, 5, 6. So if
Interesting.
you maybe think about those
I mean,
tournament
you
fights,
can tell the fighting kind of changed.
the fighting has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also find it interesting too because I mean, I don't know how like prevalent it is. Like I know for us, we cannot fight people in terms of like a sparring match without pads on. Like you're just not allowed to. And I know
Yeah.
certain styles let you fight barehanded and like bare feet. So
Mhm.
I find that still bringing that over from the original Karate Kid series, I think that that's just a nice touch for them. My thing too watching that was like I knew for a fact that like if we ever tried fighting bare knuckle, bare feet, we'd get excused out of our studio. Like they'd be like,
Mhm.
nah, peace. We don't do that here. But I now that when you say that, that
Mhm.
does make sense because the speed of the fights changed in 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Like your speed changed and the cadence has changed. And that actually makes a ton of sense now that you say that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. They did have a new team and you could tell.
For sure, for sure. Maybe when you rewatch, you'll also be able to like if you do are you planning on
Pinpoint it more.
rewatching?
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to at least before July 25th comes out. Isn't that the day that the first
18th.
one comes out? Did I see that
Close,
right?
close. 18th.
I was close.
Soon. So
Shut. Wait
soon.
a second.
It's 2 months.
Wait, it comes out the 18th
What's the 18th?
of July.
Is there,
So it comes out July 18th.
yeah, do you have something?
That's literally the day that I get my master's. That is
Shut
literally the
up.
day that I'm promoted to 5th degree laptop. Yep.
No
That's why I thought it was
way.
the 25th. Uh-huh.
Oh my. I
100%.
mean, that's perfect. That's
That
perfect.
that is the day, like the night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time that I'm getting promoted to 5th degree black belt on July 18th.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my god. Well, that's why I thought it was July 25th. I
Oh
didn't even put that together.
my. Now you're not going to forget July 18th. Now you won't.
Nope. Now I'm gonna be like the same. Now I'm gonna have to like that will be the way that I distract myself
Yeah, that
from not like yeah, because that day already is gonna be very anxiety filled, just because like just leading up to that performance and that day and like getting my black jacket like passed down and like traditions that come with that and all that stuff. But wow, love that for
that's
me.
awesome.
Great guys.
Hey, it's destiny. It's fate.
It is fate working out the way it needed to. So I guess we're good.
And then the second batch of episodes, you're not going to forget this one. Thanksgiving, November 28th.
Is
Thanksgiving
it
Day.
really?
Yeah, which I think
Why?
I don't like that. I'm going to be
I
with
mean,
family.
also though, I know. I feel like okay. Here's my double-edged sword. Number one, they know everybody's off. Like nobody works.
Yeah.
So that's a number. Like that's a good date to pick because everybody's off. So the Cobra Kai fans are gonna. That will be like a whole binging episode because you're already off. I mean that's smart. It is smart. But I also am kind of like, okay, holiday when everyone's together in a family, you may not have anywhere to watch this thing.
Yeah.
So there's a double-edged sword with that.
I mean, I guess if I watch it at 3 a.m. and then like just till 10 a.m., which I probably
I
won't.
guess if I pulled an all-nighter and just watched it all on the same day.
Which I have done that before.
Yeah, I have definitely binged on days, and I've just gone like that whole day's been a Cobra Kai day for me, so it's always fun.
It is. It is. And I know. Okay, so I know I asked you about the Cobra Kai Miyagi-Do mentality in Big Brother.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to ask you. We'll start with Miyagi-Do. In real life,
Okay.
when have you found yourself using like Miyagi-Do lessons in real life outside of karate?
Oh, teaching, most definitely. In teaching, you have to be you have to be a Miyagi-Do. I cannot be a Cobra Kai.
Imagine.
But just like having, could you imagine being a sixth grade English teacher and being a Cobra Kai mentality? Absolutely not. But no, you really have to. It's just the aspect of patience. It's the
Mm,
aspect of just centering yourself and knowing the control of your own body. So I would say teaching is a huge way that I use Miyagi-Do in my everyday life. I would say in social interactions, Miyagi-Do is the only thing that I would use. Sorry, Cobra Kai. And I would also say in dancing, like
mm,
Miyagi-Do would be what I would go to normally because that's just like control of one's body. Not that that can't be intense, but Miyagi-Do is all about controlling of your center and using the defense more than the offense. And I feel like as Britini, I live more of a Miyagi-Do lifestyle with a sprinkle of like Cobra Kai moments where I'm like, defend yourself, stand up for yourself. You're a strong woman. You know what you're doing right now. Yada yada yada. So
mm.
I would say in most aspects of my life, I am a Miyagi-Do mentality
Awesome. I love that. I would say the
with
same
some
for me
Cobra Kai
too.
flares. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, more Miyagi-Do, but also, yeah, having those Cobra Kai flares, like you talked about the confidence and standing up for yourself. Can you name some like specific examples of some Cobra Kai moments in your life? You know, even if it's not freaking like punching
Yeah.
the crap out of someone, like, being tough, standing up for yourself, and making the
Yeah.
first move, striking first.
Yeah. So for me, as being not only diagnosed with autism so young, but also being a woman diagnosed with autism, right? There comes a lot of battles that you face. And I think for me, I have learned through my mother how to be an advocate for myself. And that has not been the easiest thing for me to do. And I have had to advocate for myself in multiple different situations of like, I know what I need. So you're going to listen to what I need. And then we're going to go from there. And just being able to know yourself better than anyone knows you, because you're going to fight harder for yourself than anybody will fight for you. So I would just say advocating for myself as an autistic woman has definitely been a spot where I have had to strike first and also strike last. So
Mm,
it's been both. I also would say, I mean, obviously this one kind of goes without saying, but like when I compete martial arts or when I compete dance or whatever I do, that is a Cobra Kai mentality. Like
yeah.
it is I am ready to kick your butt on this mat and I am ready to and I don't even compete fighting. I compete kata only. And that's just a personal preference of mine. Like I am not one like also that's more stuff that I gotta bring on a plane. But no, I really enjoy the art of kata when I compete, and I just don't find as much enjoyment in fighting competitively. And I did it for years. I've kind of moved away from it at 27 years old. I'm like, I like doing kata and that's where I'm going to stick. But when I do kata, it's definitely more of a Cobra Kai mentality of like, I want to go out there and I need to show my intensity and I'm going to show that I deserve to win. And I'm going to show that I deserve to get first and stuff like that. I would also say just in like in interactions. I mean, this world is a world with really nice and awesome people and then some people who are not as nice. And it's in those moments where if you know something should be a certain way. I like to think of myself as a very blunt person. Like I will tell you how it is. I don't really just because I see the world as black and white. So if I just because of my autism. So if I don't see something like you and we're having a conflict, I'm like, let's sit down. Where like some people be like, oh, I want to give it some. No,
Yeah.
let's sit down. We're going to figure this out and we're going to see both sides of this because I don't have the energy to focus on it anymore. So that's more of a let's work through this. I'm going to let you know what you did wrong and I'm going to hold accountability for my end, but you need to hold accountability for yours. And we're going to move on from here because this life's too short, kind of a thing. So it's just in a lot of moments of just like standing your ground, being confident in who you are and the abilities that you possess, and not letting anybody walk all over you because nobody has the right to do that. So for that reason, if somebody does, stand up for yourself and do what you need to do. Obviously, avoid violence at all costs if you can. I've thankfully being almost a fifth degree black belt, I've thankfully never been into a fist fight or a fight in my in like a real fight in my life, but I am prepared if I ever need to be, and if I ever need to defend myself. One of my masters said a very, and I'm gonna hope that I say this right, but the quote that he said to me, I will never forget. And he said, I do not fight to live. no, I don't live to fight, but I will fight to live.
Mm.
That's okay. That was it. I'm like, so I don't live to fight you, but I will fight to live. So like if I'm ever put in a situation where I do need to fight for myself, trust and be known that I'm coming back to my room. Like I'm going to make it back here.
Wow.
And I'm going to do what I need to do to get back to this room and get back to my family. So I was told that when in 2017, I was told that. So I was 19 when I was told that. No, I was 20. And I've never forgotten that. So I feel like that's, for me, that I almost think that that explains the Miyagi-Do Cobra Kai in my life. Like that's kind of a perfect thing. Like I don't live to fight you, but I will fight to live. And I feel like that kind of brings both in there.
Wow. That's a great balance. You're like a Cobra Do or a Miyagi Kai.
I would definitely say I'm like I would definitely consider myself a Miyagi-Do, but I would just say I'm like a Miyagi-Do with like sprinkles.
Yeah, little sprinkles every here and there.
Like I am most definitely, I don't know what flavor of ice cream you would consider Miyagi-Do, but just add some chocolate sprinkles to that, and that would be me.
Like a vanilla, I would say right? Miyagi-Do, maybe like
okay, so vanilla with some chocolate sprinkles on it.
Okay. There you go. I like that.
We'll make it into a food analogy.
That's amazing. And you were talking about your Instagram and how you spread messages to the autism community. I think that's like really admirable. Yeah. That you talk about that. And I just wanted to ask you why is it so important for you, to make these videos and to talk about it and to bring awareness to it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So firstly, thank you. Sharing my autism journey has become one of the greatest joys that I get to do on social media. And I just have seen the community evolve so much. And I mean, I was diagnosed 25 years ago, so a lot of things have changed since 1999. And I need them to keep changing in the right direction. And I see so often that there's so many misperceptions and just misinformation about what it means to have autism in our stories. And there's also stories being told about autism by not autistic individuals, which is fine. It's just not us. So for me, as an autistic woman, I have been given the opportunity to share personal experiences and to share what it is like from an autistic woman's perspective. Now, am I the only perspective? Absolutely not. I have so many friends in the autism community, and although we have similar views, we also have different views on some things. And that just comes with life and the journeys that we've had, and no journey is the same, which is what I love. But I have just taken it upon myself to really focus on educational pieces, because I wish that when I was diagnosed, I knew the things that I know now. And I wish that my mother and father didn't have to fight as hard as they had to fight for me, because I was diagnosed in 1999 and services were almost unheard of. Like I got 40 hours a week of therapy, which was literally unheard of. I was the first person in Western New York to get the 40 hours because my mother has 3 master's degrees and she had a specialty in children with disabilities. And she just knew exactly what I needed. She did her research, but that is not offered to everybody. And we had to fight for 9 months to get that therapy back in 99 going into 2000. So I just think that it's so insanely important to keep the education going, because like I said, there is a lot of misinformation out there, and it doesn't represent us all. It doesn't represent a good majority of us, what the information is out there. And I think it's important to not only hear my voice, but to hear multiple voices, as many voices as we can in the autism community from autistic individuals, telling us how they feel, telling us how they want to be represented, how they want to be shown, I guess is the best way that I can put it.
Yeah. And how have people responded to that? I know you mentioned when you get recognized in public, sometimes it's for Big Brother, but also it's for these videos that have blown up, right?
For sure. Yeah, it's the response has been kind of crazy. Like I posted at the beginning of every April, like April 1st, I always repost my autism story, and I do it in a different way every year. It's mostly the same, but I do it in a different way. And that video is now my most viral video of all time. It's at 10 million views. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy to see that many people watching your stuff. Yeah. But also it went viral everywhere. Like Facebook, it went viral. TikTok, it went viral. Instagram, it went viral. Like every single platform picked this thing up and just ran. And it's crazy for me as the individual, because you never, like, I never thought that my story would gather this kind of a response, but also it just like seeing how many people got hope from that story, and seeing how many people just like I like that audio now that I used has like 500 more people, like 500 more people use that audio to tell you their own stories. And it
Wow.
created this like chain reaction that was beautiful. And I was watching some of them yesterday and I was just sobbing. And I was just like, the impact that I'm having is even larger than I know and even larger than I can process. But it's also, I'm so grateful for it, because I'm so grateful that people are receptive to things not being the same anymore and things not being one way, because the spectrum isn't one way. That's why it's called a spectrum. So it's been crazy and amazing and wonderful and awesome all at the same time.
That's amazing. I think it's absolutely
Yeah,
great that you use your platform. I know you do a lot of different things, but sharing your stories.
so many.
I know. How do you? I also want to.
So many different things on my platform.
Yeah, I want to ask you, like, what I know. Okay, you mentioned, we know you're dancing, we know you're doing martial arts, we know you're a teacher, but can you talk about the social media presence? Like, since Big Brother, what have you been
Yeah.
doing, and how do you balance all of it? Like, as an editor and video maker myself, I see what you're doing, and it's not easy. I could just tell it's a
No.
lot. Can you just talk about what kind of stuff you do?
Yeah, so with social media, it's a little bit interesting because I social media was something that I never like expected to do, you know? And obviously Big Brother is a big show, and you're given a platform at the end of that show. And what you choose to do with that platform, I always tell you, is your
Yeah.
choice. Now, some people on my season really use social media a lot, and they share messages that are passionate to them. And I was easily one of those people that wanted to take that route. So social media for me looks like a lot of different things. So obviously it has, in like, autism acceptance content has become really big. Dancing's become really big. Karate, not as much on my social media pages, I'll be honest. Only because I don't film myself doing it often.
Mm,
Like when I train, I'm very much in the
yeah.
zone. So that is one area where like I don't film as often. If I compete, you're gonna see it. Like if I compete, like those videos, I'm like, okay, those I can post because number one, I've trained hard for that. But number two, somebody probably hit the record button at some point and then I will have this
Mhm.
video. So karate not as often, but like even like Disney content is huge for me on my page. And that was something that like I wasn't like, I love Disney. I'm proudly a Disney adult and I know this. I have an annual pass to Orlando as well as California, but I just like, I love Disney, and like I love doing funny bits about Disney content and making it enjoyable for audiences. And like that has led into like doing hotels and like talking about the ins and outs of Disney, and then like even different people that I partner with now. Like I have a really big partnership with Undercover Tourist, and they sell like discounted Disney
Mm.
tickets and theme park tickets. And that came from just my love of Disney and them just like searching me out and being like, I think you would represent us amazingly. And now I've worked with them for 2
Wow.
years. And so it's just like these, and then obviously from all of this, I've been able to work with dream brands of mine. So like Zumba, like the Zumba classes you take at the gym, I'm a huge partner with them and I have been now going on 3 years. Literally since I came out of the house, Zumba reached out to me and that was a partnership that I established like I think the month after I got out. Or 2 months or something like that. It was crazy. Crazy the quickness of it. But like even since then, like Zumba sponsored me to get my certification. So like now I'm a Zumba instructor. And I've been to the Zen Con and I've like done conventions for them and I've like created content for them. Like you wouldn't, like I took Zumba classes with my nana at 9 years old, and then that happened, and I was like, like what is going
Yeah.
on? Like you just don't think these things correlate. And I felt so blessed. I've been able to work with such amazing companies and have such amazing contacts that have really allowed me to showcase my own organic content through the brand that I'm working with. And like that's been a whole nother world. Like that's a whole nother world, is the influencing world and how that works. And I'm blessed to be a part of it in the way that I am. I'm blessed to have really great contacts that believe in the work that I do and believe in what I want to say with the product. And so like it's been crazy. Like not everyone has to go through that life. Like I know I am one of the few, well not even, no, from my cast there's a lot of people that work 9 to 5. So I guess I'm not in the few. There's a lot in 23, there's a lot of us that work 9 to 5s. But like a lot of times you see after the show that like people will try that route full time. I never have, because I just have more than one passion besides social media. So
Mhm.
I love teaching. I'm never going to stop doing that. but like it's social media is a ride, you know. Any single day I could be posting something different and you're not going to know what it
That's
is.
great.
So like yeah, but also it's nice though cuz like I'm not niched to one single thing, which is great.
Mhm.
Like I can post kind of whatever I want to and it will resonate because people know that I'm going to post whatever I want to. And then I'm just kind of in that realm. So, like, one day could be dance, one day could be karate, one day could be autism acceptance, next day could be me at a Disney resort, next day could be me having fun on a Disney ride and me playing Buzz Lightyear and getting way too competitive for you for anyone's liking, but I'm going to do it anyways. Like, the possibilities for what I could post are pretty much endless, which I love because that to me means that I just get to be myself in whatever way that I choose. And that is my favorite part about social media and the platforms that I've created.
I totally understand that because, I have my Cobra Kai channel, which is about Cobra Kai Karate
Yeah.
Kid. It's a niche topic, but I always try to do different things with it because I have so many interests.
Yeah.
So like, I try to approach it the same way that you do with your content, where you never know what you're gonna get on my channel. Where one day it could be an interview, another day it could be a discussion with Britini from Big Brother. It could be um a parody of Terry Silver singing a song. It could be me meeting a cast member or a breakdown video. Like I try to play to my interests. I love music, so sneaking some music into there. I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
So like, which shout out to May the 4th yesterday, certain
Yeah. May the fourth
May
be
the
with
4th be
you.
with you. Like I did a video where I had where I edited lightsabers into Cobra Kai characters' hands and the fight. Like I don't know, just changing it up, keeping it fun, keeping it fresh for
Yeah.
the audience and for ourselves. Because doing like I'm sure if you just did just dance videos or just martial arts, it wouldn't be enough for you, right? Like you because you have so much more
Yeah.
than that.
Like, I would wanna do all of it, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a great thing for your page as well, is like, yes, it's Cobra Kai, yes, it's the Karate Kid, but, like, there's so many different aspects to that. But also, like, then there's also you and, like, your personal interests, and, like, you are the face behind this channel, so you can do whatever you please. And, like, that's honestly how I see social media because social media is so fluctuating. Every single day, you never know what you're gonna get. And you never know how the algorithm's going to work, how this is going to work. And there's so many analytics that go with social media that can just like bog your brain down if you think about it too hard. And so for me, I just say have fun with social media, end it there. That's it. Like that is my goal. And if I'm not having fun with social media, then I need to reassess what I'm doing.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they're like, people discover the content, what you're posting.
Yep.
Maybe someone's into dance and they find a dance video, but then the reason they stick around is for you as a person. It doesn't matter what you
Correct.
post. Like, I've posted things
Mm-hmm.
and people are just like, yeah, I could like I've done like watch parties, right? Where I'll watch a
Yeah.
movie and like sometimes people like won't even watch the movie along with me and I'm like, "Oh, you're just hanging out. Cool. Fun."
And that's the thing, you know what I mean? Like people come for different reasons, you know what I mean? When it comes to for anything, like even when I go live, like I'll sometimes like live watch Big Brother when the season starts, or I'll just go live just to talk about life. And like the reasons why people come in there are all
Right.
different, you know, but it's so nice to like bring that community together and be like, this is so cool. Like what like even I asked I don't call them fans, I call them family. Is what we call
Mhm.
them. So I ask my family all the time. I'm like, so like, what do y'all want to see? What is the next thing you want to see? Even for Autism Acceptance Month, my family chose all my topics.
Love that.
Like they chose everything that I talked about in it, and I still have so many more videos to cover, because we literally came up with like 60 ideas.
Cool.
So I guess Autism Acceptance Month is more going to be like Autism Acceptance Year because we're just going to keep making the content. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's also it's something people want to see, and I really have gathered such a base of like people who support it and people who want to hear that side of me as well as the voice as well as what I have to say, which is nice, which I never thought possible, but it is happening. So here we are.
for sure. I'm excited for that content. It's gonna be great.
People want to hear what I have to say. Such a weird thing.
It's gonna be good. I'm excited to hear. I'm excited to hear. And
Yeah.
I know you have to get going soon, so I do want to ask you before we wrap up. Cobra Kai
Okay.
season 6. We got the 3 parts coming out. I
Yep.
know we're both super excited. I want to ask what do you want to see happen most in this 6th final season as a fan?
Oh my god, I have so many things that I want to see. I do. Oh god, I'm so torn with a lot of these things though. So I am also a romantic junkie. I would like to see Miguel and Sam stay together for a whole season without any hiccups. Like I just want you to be strong. Um, I'm sorry. Like at the end, like I am team Miguel and Sam. I need y'all to stay together for a whole season, not hiccup
I
for me.
don't
Like
know
I
about
just need it to go
that.
smooth. I know, but I
I
need it to
know.
just go smooth.
I know.
I need more than 3 episodes where these 2 people, like, they just said I love you to each other. Like, I need it to just stick for me for, like, maybe 5 episodes, and then we can bridge off and then come back together at the end. To be completely honest with you, when I think about the Sekai Sekai is the big topic for me of, who can win that? And in my head, I only see 2 options.
Yeah.
Miguel's gotta win it, or Robbie's gotta win it.
Yeah.
It's one of the 2. And I say that I think that Sam is not gonna win it. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But in my head, I'm like, Miguel's gotta win it or Robbie's gotta win it. And my reason for saying that is because Miguel was the very first person we see in season 1 training. And like to see him go from this, he wins the first All Valley. He doesn't even make it past the semis because he drops out in the All Valley in season 4. Come back and win this tournament. Like, I don't tell me that Miguel would not have a reason to win it. And then Robbie's got a reason to win it. Reason being he hasn't won anything yet. Like
twice.
this dude is so this dude is just like so close and is never capitalized and has never won. Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, Robbie Keane does deserve a win here. Like the man deserves to finally win something. I don't care what it is. Could just be happiness and security himself. In my head, I'm kind of like more leaning towards Miguel winning it than Robbie. I'm a little bit more towards Miguel just because of the starting. If they separate it by gender, I think Sam LaRusso finally deserves an official win. That does not involve a technicality or being paid off by judges. I think that'd be great. So I would love to see Miguel and Sam finally win. Both of them. I also would love to see, I'm excited for the training. Like as much as I'm excited for the tournament, I am excited to see how they're going to train for this tournament. Like that is something that I'm really excited for just as a martial artist myself. Like how Mr. LaRusso and how like Johnny and like how all 3 of them are going to come together and just say, what's going to happen here? My other thing is I'm like, John Kreese is back. And I'm like, I don't know what that means for anyone. All I know for me is that that's just going to mean more nervousness and exhaustion while I watch this series, just knowing what this man's about to pull. So that's where I'm like, ooh, I don't know what happens next. But also, okay, and I'm going to blank on her name. There is a woman that was in the Karate Kid series that they are hinting that she could be Tori Nichols' coach. If that happens, if Tori gets coached by her, I don't think Tori's going to win at all. But I do think that Tori will have like an epiphany of her journey of like greatness and whatever. I mean, I know in the trailer we see her training at Miyagi-Do. Yeah. I don't think that lasts. I do think she's going to switch at some point to somebody else. I don't know. I don't see Tori winning it. I don't like, I don't know. I want what I really want in this season is people like, I want to see the next move. I want to see people figuring out like their motives, their whys. Like, why are we doing this? Why are you competing in this tournament? What do you want from it? Like, what do you want from martial arts right now? Because there's been a lot of focus of like the next thing and the next thing. And like, I would love to see more of their whys for martial arts in this last season of like, why are you fighting? Why are you even training for this? Like, what is your deeper motivation? And let me see more into each person's motivations kind of thing.
I completely agree.
That was a very long-winded answer. to answer that question.
It's a good answer though, and I really resonate with wanting to know why each person is fighting. Okay, sure, we get like if the bad guys win or Cobra Kai wins, they take over the valley, or maybe they take over the world or whatever, and that's why they're competing. But
Yeah,
like why is Dimitri competing? Why is Hawk competing? Like
correct.
what is their personal motivation? And I agree that like something that's really interesting with this show, and one of the biggest challenges that's going to be going into the tournament from a storytelling perspective is not everybody's going to win. Like we're mentioning
Yeah,
Miguel, Robbie, Sam, Tori. Those are the four main characters. One of them or two of them are most likely to win. But
yeah.
for those that don't win, how are their arcs going to
What do
be
they win?
complete? Like what are they going to win internally? Because this is the end. They have to have some sort of like conclusion to their story. So like if Robbie loses again for the third time,
What happens?
are we gonna like is that are we gonna feel like bro, Robbie's journey sucks, or are they gonna like cap it in a way where it's like he didn't need that win because he got something else? Do you know what I'm saying? Like a full arc without
Yeah.
a full
Yep.
arc without the win. Because if Miguel wins, that's his full Karate Kid arc. But if Robbie doesn't
That's
win,
hard.
what's his thing? And same thing. If Robbie wins, great arc there. But if Miguel doesn't win, then
What happens?
what's his journey?
What happens after? Like, what's the reason why he
Yeah,
didn't win? Like, was it internal? Like, was it something else? No, I literally agree with you so wholeheartedly on this, because I think that's something that's proven in anything, but also in the martial arts world. It's like you can't win all the time.
yeah.
Like, I have won 3 world championships at our world championships tournament, but I have not won since 2017. I have come in second place the 6 years since 2017. So this year, like every single year in every division I've competed in, I've gotten second place. Could be by a tenth, could be by a point, like it could be by the smallest margins or the largest, but like I have gotten second for so many years. But something else comes out of the second places for me every single time.
Right.
And I feel like when people like I feel like that's one thing that they could capitalize on, or that they're gonna have to capitalize on, because this is the finale. Like we need to know how
There's
everything
nothing
ends.
else after this.
So correct. I mean, unless they end up saying not the last season 7, everybody. Which I don't think's happening. But I want to see the rationale for everything. Like I feel like the reasonings behind every scene, every motion, every conversation, like they have to let the audience know what's going on, and they have to make it abundantly clear. Which is going to be interesting. So I don't know. It's going to be good. I'm so excited for it because I really think it has the potential to be so great. But I also, at the same time, am like, I really hope that they use this opportunity to show us more into each person, let alone, like, I hope that the Sekai Dekai does not overarch and let us see less of the characters individually. I hope it only enhances what we get to see of them individually.
Completely agree. Because at the end of the day, it's the characters that matter.
Correct.
Like Johnny Lawrence can be eating a sandwich for a half hour and we'll be interested because it's Johnny Lawrence, you know?
Correct. Yep.
So, yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Woo! July 18th. We're gonna have to chat again when it comes to that.
We're gonna have to.
Oh my god.
We're gonna have to.
Maybe we could chat after each part. Like, oh, that'd be so fun.
Oh my god, please. No, literally, I will chat after every part. We can either do it live, we can do pre-record, however we want to do it. But I would love to chat it, because I think it's just like I said. I mean, just watching it as a martial artist, I think is a little bit different, because I just see like I mean, obviously, I know the style that they're doing is very similar to my own. Obviously, I see differences, but I know that the art that they're doing, I see a lot of similarities. And so in terms of stances and posture and weight, like where your weight is in stances, so like I see a lot of similarities in that. But no, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I have to ask. I may be putting you on the spot here, but I know you have a very special talent of freestyle rapping.
Oh, God. Normally when I have time to script it.
Do you script them? Or I know you did some of Big Brother in your interviews. I wasn't sure if they were freestyle.
I did. No, so what would happen for those interviews is they gave me 3 minutes. and I literally took my handler's notepad and I created a rap in 3 minutes, and that's what I put.
Oh, I thought you were coming up
So
with
I
a
didn't have a lot of
plot,
time.
and I was like, those are so
No, I didn't
impressive.
have a lot of time to put them together, but I did put them together in like 3 minutes. So still impressive, but they are not on the fly.
Okay.
They take. I just definitely have to think. Now, mind you, for the next time that we chat, I will make a freestyle rap for you about the part one.
How did you know I was gonna ask?
That
I was literally gonna say, can you give us a Cobra Kai freestyle rap?
I will give you a Cobra Kai freestyle for part one.
Okay, promise.
For sure, promise. That is a promise.
Okay,
that is a promise. You will get a freestyle rap for part one.
I'm so excited for that. Each part.
Each part gets another rap. Now we are here and we on a part two.
I am so excited for that. That will be great. Like a recap of each part. Oh my, Netflix might have to share that. You know, it's like if you missed part one, we got Britney's freestyle rap.
Oh my God, could you imagine if I Miss Cobra Kai, here's an episode part one. La 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 la.
I am excited for that.
We'll make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
We'll do it.
All right. That'll be fun. Britney, oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank
this
you.
Was brilliant.
This was so fun.
This was amazing. Can you tell everybody online where they can check you out? I know you got you have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Where can they follow you?
Yeah, so everywhere is going to be Britini_D'Angelo. So you spell Britney like Britini, so it's Britini, so Britini, and then D'Angelo, and it'll be with an underscore in the middle. And then so I mostly am on Instagram and TikTok are my main two, but then Facebook and YouTube I am trying my absolute best to be consistent on. I want to just forget about those normally, but I'm trying not to forget about them. We're doing a little bit better now, so we're doing good.
Awesome. And is there anything you want to say to the viewers, to the family before we wrap up?
Oh my gosh. To the fam, guys. I am so excited for season 6. If anyone ever wants to talk Cobra Kai, my Instagram DMs are open. TikTok are closed. Long story. Nothing bad. It's just I keep that one closed. I keep Instagram because TikTok doesn't filter DMs very well. Instagram filters them very well. So that's why I keep Instagrams open. But no, I love talking about Cobra Kai. I'm so excited for season 6. And it's gonna be a great time.
Yes.
Britney. Well, thank you all so much for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching, Britney. You're the best. Thank you so much for joining. This was absolutely pleasure.
Y'all are awesome.
You're awesome. We're both awesome. What can we say? We're both awesome.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Cobra Kai never dies.